Welcome to Damn Good Movie Memories with your host, Brian Davis. This podcast is the cure for your long commute and super boring workday. Hello there, it's Brian Davis, and for this week's episode, we're going to talk about our favorite movie endings. Now, before we had done an episode on movies that we love up till the ending, and there was definitely a lot of spoiler alerts, but we're going to have spoiler alerts in this episode as well, but this time we're going to go positive instead of negative. These are the movies that we just absolutely love the endings for whatever reason. Now, I mentioned before in the last week's episode, part 3 of celebrity sightings and encounters, that I was on jury duty. Now, I'm finally out of jury duty. The case was decided. We came up with a verdict, and I won't get into the case at all. If you know me and want to talk to me, I can tell you more details. But I'm going to say this. Anyone that dreads going to jury duty, I totally get it. Nobody really thinks, hey, this is the way I really want to spend my day or even week, in my case. But I tell you, you really appreciate the process of law and a free society and the right to a free trial. And just the whole process to me was fascinating. Seeing how the trial worked was really a cool thing. So I understand if you want to get out of jury duty, but if you ever do happen to serve on the jury, as one of my peers said, it's an honor to actually serve on a jury and to be able to be a process of something like this. So yes, you may dread it, but if you do get a chance and you are on it, you may appreciate it more than you think. Anyway, let's get to this week's endings, and I don't have a specific order to my favorite endings. I do have a relatively long list, so I'll go through them as quickly as I can. One movie is The Departed, which is a brutal movie. With Leonardo DiCaprio, Mark Wahlberg, Matt Damon, and of course Jack Nicholson. This is based on Whitey Bulger. The ending is great because it keeps going. Like you think it's done and it's not done, and you think, he's going to get away with it, and he doesn't. And it just ends. And so to me, the not knowing, now that I've seen it, I knew it was going to happen, obviously, but when I first saw it, it was really pretty cool. One that came up pretty obvious. There's two that came up pretty obvious. One was Shawshank Redemption. This was kind of like the payback, the retribution. You had to go through hell to get to this point, but I think that's what makes the payoff with Andy Dufresne so satisfying. And of course, with Red at the end, played by Morgan Freeman. The other obvious one, and other people have mentioned this, is The Usual Suspects. Just the Kaiser Sose ending, and it is kind of the gotcha moment. But if you think of gotcha endings, The Usual Suspects has to be on there. Casablanca, of course, it's a classic ending with Louis. This is the start to a beautiful friendship. That was actually added in later after the completion of the film. They dubbed that in because they really didn't have a great ending. It was basically they walked off, but as it turned out, it ended up being one of the most classic endings in movie history. Another one is The Sting. Sting, it kind of built up to that point, but the payoff at the end is worth it. The characters are all great. The acting's tremendous. The character actors are really great in The Sting, but the way they pulled it off and the way they get Lonigan at the end, really well done. The next two are baseball movies. Obviously, The Natural. Yes, it's hokey, but it works. It works because it's iconic. You hear that theme music when he hits the baseball, and you think he's done. And I tell you, yeah, you think of it now, you think it's hokey, but go to real life. Go to 1988 when Kirk Gibson limps up to the plate against Dennis Eckersley, who was the most dominating pitcher at the time, and he can barely walk, Kirk Gibson. And he is just badly outmatched the first couple pitches to Dennis Eckersley, and then all of a sudden, bam, he hits one of the most iconic home runs, just like Roy Hobbs. He was injured. He didn't play for the rest of the World Series, but he hit a storybook home run. So anyone that says that The Natural's hokey, because of course he busts out the lights, but the fact that he hits a home run, he's bleeding, it really happened. It happened in real life. Kirk Gibson was basically Roy Hobbs for that one day. Field of Dreams. It can be argued that Field of Dreams isn't really solely a baseball movie. It's basically about a story about a man trying to make amends with his his deceased father. And of course, the payoff is great. And I remember seeing this as a kid. I didn't really see it coming. I'm sure my dad did, but no, the ending is touching. The ending is great. The ending is what everyone wanted it to be, and it's just really well done. If you build it, he will come. Gran Torino. Clint Eastwood is great at endings. I have a few other ones with Clint Eastwood, but Gran Torino, if he was younger, he may have done the shoot 'em up, I'm going to get, Dirty Harry ending, but he didn't have to do it in Gran Torino. It wouldn't have worked in Gran Torino if he had done that. And to me, it wasn't that ending. It was the very ending, the reading of the will. Those bastard children that he had who didn't appreciate him, all they wanted was one just felt it was their birthright to get to Gran Torino. And then, of course, they go and he does the complete opposite. It's kind of that, fuck you at the end, even when he's dead, which was just perfect because that's what his character was like. And he did exactly what the audience was hoping to do. The family that lived next door was more of a family to him than his actual family. All right, another Clint Eastwood movie would be Unforgiven. Unforgiven with Gene Hackman and Morgan Freeman and Clint Eastwood. Most of the movie you're going throughout thinking Clint doesn't have it left, and he's this washed up old gunslinger, old Western guy. And then at the end, the payoff hits, and this is why Unforgiven works when he pulls it out. It wouldn't have worked with Gran Torino, but for Unforgiven, it works. The Hangover, one of the few comedies I actually have on the list. And the reason The Hangover works is it's not really the ending, it's the credits, because no movie had really done this kind of fun, let's do all the stuff that you really didn't see in the movie, and you get to see all of the pictures throughout just the insane pictures. It's so funny. And unfortunately, they basically tried to do the same thing in part two, and it lost its luster because what you see in the first movie you weren't expecting. And that's why most of these endings work. You're not expecting most of the endings. And the surprise factor's gone. So speaking of surprise endings, my next pick, Little Miss Sunshine. I saw this in the theater. I had no idea what to expect. That payoff with the Little Miss Sunshine pageant and the girl, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to give it away, but it is so good. People were rolling in the aisles because it was totally unexpected. Nobody was expecting this ending. It was hilarious. It was just perfect for this dark comedy. It was a perfect ending for this dark comedy. All right, Rocky. Rocky, the very first Rocky. If they had never made another Rocky, this would have been the satisfying ending. And the reason pretty much the first movie is held in such high regard is because it isn't hokey. The guy takes an unbelievable beating, but it didn't matter if he won. The whole point of the story was he went toe-to-toe with the champ for 15 rounds, and that's all that mattered. The fact that he lost didn't matter. The iconic scene where he's basically, screaming for Adrian, she rushes into the ring, they're hugging in slow motion, and then it just pauses on him. If they had never made another Rocky, that would have been... It may have been considered one of the greatest movies of all time. I'm not joking, because that was iconic. Of course, I enjoy all the Rockies, but I think just the number of sequels probably watered down how good the original Rocky was. All right, we're running down my list. 9 to 5, the movie 9 to 5. This is your payback. Payback's a bitch type of movie, the revenge movie. You're rooting for the three women in the movie, Jane Fonda, Dolly Parton, and Lily Tomlin, to get back at their unbelievably horrible boss, known as Franklin Hart, played by Dabney Coleman. He does so good in this. Going back to my favorite villain, he is a perfect villain. And, you almost think at one point he's going to get away with everything he's done, but the payoff at the end was Sterling Hayden, the boss that came down, and then you find out he gets transferred to, Dabney Coleman gets transferred to Brazil. It's perfect. Three more. Office Space. Office Space is kind of a cult classic. If you work in a cubicle, if you work for the tech company, Office Space is kind of your your Bible, your go-to movie. The ending where it basically burns down the entire office and they all get away with it after they were going to admit that they embezzled from the company. Yeah, everyone wanted that sort of ending, and Milton gets away with it. One more is actually I said I had two more. I actually only have one more. It's The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. This is a perfect ending. I think if you've never seen this movie, do yourself a favor and see it. The payoff is so good at the end, and just the Walter Houston's laugh at the end when he realizes that it's all gone, all the money's gone, and how it just blew away after this. You're going through a 2.5 hour movie just to get this payoff. It's so good. So if you enjoy classic films, definitely see The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. All right, I've spoken way too long. Let's get into other people's picks for this week's episode of our favorite movie endings. All right, it's PD back. How you doing, Brian?
What's up? I'm pretty good.
Good. Okay, so this week, this is a positive one. It's also going to be the spoiler alert episode, I think.
Spoilers.
Watch out. Which is good because, I mean, at this point, if you haven't seen these movies, well, that's not true. So, like, Enrique mentioned The Bicycle Thieves, so it's possible people haven't seen that. But it shouldn't take away from seeing these movies.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about that. So I probably won't talk about the endings all together. But,
okay, unless it's so obvious that...
Yeah, I mean, some of them will be pretty popular and you'll know it. But anyway, so I made a list and I categorized the list because I felt like there are different types of endings. And the reason I like these endings is because it's like they hit a different chord.
Okay, a true ontologist.
Yeah. All right. So the first category I had is the twist ending.
Oh, good.
And for me, my favorite there is The Usual Suspects.
Yes. Kaiser Soze.
Kaiser Soze, The Identity of Kaiser Soze. I won't spoil it yet. Maybe someone else will.
Did you see it coming?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's been a while, and I know it, and I've seen it several times since then, and so you kind of pick out the clues later. But I don't think I saw it coming.
I didn't either. I didn't see it in the theater, but I was like, "Holy crap!"
I credit anyone who actually, honestly, did see that coming. I think
they
did it really. That's why I think it's a great ending because you don't really see it coming.
Yeah, and it's definitely. There's one of those movies where people, even if they haven't seen it, they kind of know the Kaiser Soze and they know all that stuff.
I mean, it's Kaiser Soze me.
Yeah, no, but that's a brilliant ending. So. And
then similar is The Sixth Sense, although it's not. I think that one for me it's probably less good on rewatches, but I think Usual Suspects bears reviewing.
Yeah, there's one. The movie isn't harmed by rewatching. Actually, it's better. You catch little
pick
things
up more.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, good point.
So my next category is called Karmic Justice.
Okay,
that's really, but it's also a comedy. It's the movie Real Genius from the '80s.
Yeah,
with Val Kilmer.
I
guess I'm going to spoil the ending of this one. It's pretty funny.
Sure,
because the whole one of the movie they're developing this laser.
Yes,
in the '80s is. Now it'd be kind of silly that they're working on this kind of project, but not at that time. It was like a laser weapon kind of thing, and they were. It was a little bit more advanced for that era, and
definitely a precursor to Big Bang Theory because they all went to Caltech. And
exactly. Yeah. So a cast of characters similar in in stature to those on what's it called?
Big Bang Theory.
Big Bang Theory. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the ending is they end up working to develop this laser, but they don't want it used on anything.
Right, it's for war.
Yeah, they think, well, we got
what's going on right now?
Into working on, So they plan a prank on their professor, and they use the laser on his house.
Yes,
and it sets off. They put popcorn all over his house, so it heats up all the popcorn in the house, and his house is overflowing at the end.
While Everybody Wants to Rule the World from Tears for Fears is playing, so it's a great.
It's a really good ending. I mean, the rest of the movie is really good too, but the ending is just it's perfect.
And it's definitely Val Kilmer's best role, I think.
One of them. If not his best, it's one of them for sure. Yeah,
definitely more.
That was probably one of his first roles too. It was before Top Gun, right?
Yeah, I want to say maybe Top Secret, the comedy. That parody comedy they did.
I don't know if I saw Top Secret.
It's kind of like a Zucker Brothers Airplane type of movie.
Oh, okay, and maybe I did see that.
Yeah, so this is a year before Top Gun, and then he really never did a comedy after Real Genius, which is interesting. So yeah. Do you have any more other karma?
That was it. There are probably others. There's probably some other. I was trying to think of more like ironic endings or like.
I just
comedies.
thought Shawshank. Because the warden gets his at the end. I mean,
that's true. Yeah, I had Shawshank under another category. Okay, so I'll skip to that right now.
Sure.
That's actually my next category was kind of the triumph over evil or adversity.
There you go.
Shawshank.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does get the warden in an ironic way. But I was thinking more like the broader ending.
Okay.
It's like so much toil and frustration, and like he was wrongly accused,
yes.
and finally makes his way out of the prison.
Right.
Like this catharsis, and then you have the double ending where it's Red also finally getting parole after 40 years and getting out, and the reunion at the end.
Yes.
Kind of just the whole thing is kind of rewarding after all the torture.
Yeah, I mean, if they didn't, it's not a movie I'd want to watch over and over.
Yeah, it would be pretty depressing if it ended poorly. But I mean, there is some tragedy in the movie, which I think it kind of makes it overall a powerful movie. But others in that same category, I had The Natural.
Yeah, definitely.
It's kind of like your kind of sports story ending, or triumph over adversity. Like he had to come back from his injuries and
near
checkered
death,
pass, near death, all that stuff.
And that and I've mentioned before in other episodes, the book is the opposite. Like the book.
Oh yeah,
he basically strikes out on purpose.
Yeah,
and he throws
the game, which is interesting. Yeah. And that's more in keeping with. I think it's probably based on the Black Sox scandal.
Exactly. And really, it wouldn't. The movie wouldn't have been iconic if they did that.
Yeah, I think not. I think people say, "Oh yeah, great movie," but not. Yeah, it's not like an iconic sports movie if you don't have happy ending.
And the theme song at the end. And it's perfect.
Everything.
And it's overplayed now. But
yeah, of course. But like everything else.
Exactly.
And the other one was, of course, Star Wars. The first one with the destruction of the Death Star.
Yeah.
Because I can still remember. I mean, now it's kind of like you've seen it over and over, but like I still remember, how tense it was, that final battle when I first saw it, and how exciting it was when Luke did the, this is 1 in a million shot, and his friend Han Solo comes back to help him, and it's all this this great moment where they kick the Empire's ass.
That's right. That's what it's all about.
So that's what it's all about. Stick it to the man, right? The next one, I didn't really know what to call this category. I just said that you kind of discover something about the character, and this is The Godfather.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like you're learning more about who Michael really is. Like I think the whole time he claims to not want to be a part of it, or he didn't want to be a part of his family's business. And
in the first movie,
he's more in the first Godfather.
Yeah,
and then he's more drawn into it, and by the end, he's there, taking the vows and in the baptismal and talking about how he'll reject Satan and all his works.
Yeah,
swearing to the Holy Bible that will be good, and then meanwhile he's having all these people killed, and then he straight up lies to his wife at the end, and you see everyone come in. The other guys shut her out of the room out of his office, and they kiss his ring. It's Godfather.
Yeah.
So it's really, it's kind of a reveal that you already knew it was coming, but it's kind of like it just hammers it home. He's not.
And as you kind of discover in the second movie, I mean, Vito and Michael are probably more similar than you realize. Especially in the first movie, because Vito wasn't looking to get into that sort of life. If anything, he was against it because that's what killed his family.
Right.
And he had to move to America, and then it just sort of happened because he just felt the injustice of losing his job to someone.
Yeah, it was about this kind of injustice and kind of revenge. Right. More so, I think, in Michael's case. But
Well, and if Sonny isn't killed, then Sonny's obviously the apparent heir to the Godfather. So. Yeah, he just kind of turned into Vito.
Yeah. So, the next one was The Moral Victory.
Okay.
That would be Rocky.
Of course, yeah.
There's probably other sports movies like that, too. Some of the better ones, like Bad News Bears.
Yes.
There's not the actual victory at the end, but the character, has developed to a point where it's this is a great outcome.
It's actually better if they don't win.
It becomes more about the journey to get to that point rather than just the end result.
Right. Did you pick Bad News Bears in general, or
I did not?
Okay,
no, I thought about that just now.
But Bad News Bears, we could talk about both Rocky and Bad News Bears. Yeah. I think because of the theme of Bad News Bears, where they're always just kind of those ragtag guys,
right?
That them losing and then the ending of them saying "screw you, we don't need your trophy," and they chuck the trophy back, and
that's how it's a different type. But it was great for that movie.
Yeah, and then that's why the other Rockies kind of got hokey at the end because you kind of knew he was gonna win. No matter what.
Then it was after that. It was like the typical movie. Okay, of course he's gonna win now. Again,
But I think the second one is still good because there was a point where you're not sure if he's going to win the second one, and kind of that when they both fall down and then they both get back up. That was kind of cool. After that one, you're like, well,
Mr. T and Ivan Drago, and they brought it back full circle with Rocky Balboa.
They did,
where he loses, and that was again more of a victory.
But unfortunately, and I did like Rocky Balboa. They almost made it it was almost predictable.
You almost expected. I mean, it would have been ridiculous if he had won. Really.
Exactly. And I guess
he was like supposed to be 50 or something, and then he's fighting like a 20-something-year-old. It's like there's no way. I don't care. And he wasn't. And it wasn't like Rocky was really big like George Foreman, who could come out of retirement and take a pounding.
Exactly. And he was 40. I mean,
and he was in his 40s, not like. So that was,
and
the premise of the movie is pretty ridiculous.
Oh, it is.
It was pretty well executed. Otherwise,
I think Stallone had filmed both endings. One with where he wins, and I guess the test reviews like the one where he actually lost more. Okay. So of course that's the thing about these endings, and we talked about that in the endings we didn't like. These things are so tested that they have to make sure they get it right.
Yeah, you would hope that the writers and directors would have some conviction about what they really want to show, and not just. But I don't know. A lot of it's just about money and where it sells, and how you can sell not only domestic anymore, but international box office. So it's just sometimes it's too much of a business and not enough.
It is
an artistic endeavor.
Well, and that's why the first Rocky worked so well because nobody expected that movie to be as iconic.
Yeah, I don't know if it gets made today either.
I agree.
He probably would have won instead. But.
He might have. I guess it depends. If it's an indie movie, maybe not. But,
but if it's a mainstream Hollywood movie, they probably would say he should win.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree.
If they give the audience a choice anyway, the audience might say that.
Right.
Yeah. So the next one I had was the sacrifice ending, and I think there's got to be more, but the one I picked was Star Trek II because that's one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Well, it is one of my favorite sci-fi movies. It's probably like by far my favorite Star Trek movie. I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but I enjoy the movies. But most of the time, I think they're okay to horrible. Somewhere in that range.
2, 3, and 4, I think, in which they are kind of a trilogy.
Yeah.
I think those work the best.
3 was less good. 4 was pretty good.
It's fun for us living in San Francisco.
Like the fish out of water comedy, it was good.
Yeah.
The sci-fi part was kind of bad, but
I agree. Yeah, 2 is definitely the best.
2 is the best because I love how cheesy Ricardo Montalban is. He's also a villain who actually causes a lot of damage, which you don't sometimes see. Like there's not always a consequence when you have like this cartoonish villain doesn't end up doing any actual harm to the heroes. Sure, but I think he does in that case.
He does. Yeah. He got an amazing mullet too in that movie, in the chess piece. But,
and I loved your. What was it? You played the. Oh, it was from last week's episode.
Oh, with George
Takei and his
Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, you're not Ricardo Montalban.
I don't think you're Ricardo. Yeah, I love George.
All right, and then my next category was the ambiguous ending. I have a couple here. One is The Graduate, where I mean, it's not that you don't. I mean, it's ambiguous in the sense like you don't know where the characters go next.
Sure. You don't know if they're going to get married.
Like. It kind of ends where he's like heroically pulling Elaine away from this marriage she probably didn't want, and it's like this romantic gesture. But then they get on the bus and they're kind of like staring off into space.
Yeah, what the hell do we do now?
Directions. And they're like, what did we just do?
Yeah,
what is this?
Well, it's such a crazy turn of events. Like he's just running, and the family wants to kill him, and it's all,
son of a bitch.
It's a good ending.
Yeah, and the other one was Total Recall, which there's theories that it actually was a dream the whole time. And I read an article today just to kind of confirm my suspicion. And Paul Verhoeven gave he's the director. He gave an interview last year where he said he literally wanted it to be interpreted both ways. Like he wanted people to say, it was a dream the whole time or it was not a dream.
Okay.
And both are equally valid. I don't know if he's just saying that afterwards to kind of get the movie a little bit more buzz and go back and rewatch Total Recall. But I think you can look at that movie in both ways, and it's valid.
Did he direct Basic Instinct too?
Oh, he might have.
Okay, because if he did,
I haven't seen that in a while. So
let me confirm, because if he did, the ending to Basic Instinct is actually ambiguous too.
So maybe that's his thing. I don't know. That sounds right. That he might have done that. Yeah. He did RoboCop. Starship Troopers, which I enjoy.
Yeah, because and actually one of the questions: who is the real killer in Basic Instinct? And so that's
okay.
You think it's the psychologist,
yeah.
which the police figure out it's her, but at the very end you see the ice pick down on the ground. You don't know if it's Sharon Stone or not. So maybe that's his shtick, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, I think he likes to play with that.
Yeah.
But good movie, either way. So it works either way.
Total Recall. Yep.
Yeah.
Did you like the remake?
No, it had good moments, but it was a remake I thought didn't need to be made, and I really liked the original. So.
What about RoboCop?
I didn't see the remake actually.
Okay,
so I did see all the sequels, which were terrible.
Oh, they were yeah.
so
First
bad.
RoboCop's is watchable, but
there was some of the other ones are just not.
They're pretty bad. They're pretty poor.
Okay, the next one is the surreal ending.
Okay.
Again, there's probably several examples you could put here. These are just kind of what I thought of.
I should have done your format. I should do this. All right. You split it up.
Feel free to steal it, but you got to give me credit.
I will, definitely. My other brother, Brian.
Yeah. This is the surreal ending. So I picked 2001: The Space Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
Odyssey, not Oddity.
Actually, that's a good one. Yeah.
Space Odyssey, that's where he goes through the warp thing.
Yep.
Beyond Mars, and, it's...
It's a surreal movie.
Just like the ending, after the whole conflict resolution with Hal, and it's just all the rest of it is kind of this. I don't know what you even call it, the space baby.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Yeah, it's just a giant trip. And I don't know. Like I've had moments where like, oh, I think I get what this is about, and other times I'm like, wait, what was it about again? I don't know. So it's one of those movies that, if you can stand to watch like a 3-hour movie where there's not a lot of dialogue and action,
right?
And you just want to think about it or trip out a little bit, then that's a good one.
And if you live in California or Colorado, you can smoke the drug of your choice and watch it as well. So
Washington State too.
That's right.
Next category would be multiple endings.
Okay.
And this is my guilty pleasure movie, Clue.
Oh yeah.
They deliberately filmed 3 different endings. It was a marketing ploy to get people to go and see the different endings of the movie, so you'd see them multiple times in the theater, which I didn't do.
Yeah.
But when it came out on video, they had released it with all 3 endings.
Exactly.
And they're like, here's an ending. And then they said, oh, well, that's how it could have happened. And here's another way it could have happened.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, this is how it really happened.
Yeah.
And all 3 are really valid because they kind of show the different ways that, it could have played out. So
it's actually a brilliant marketing plan. It just didn't pan out.
I don't think the movie is good enough to actually get people to go back 3 times.
Yeah, see it 4 times total. But
the
cool thing about the DVD version is you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either watch all 3 alternate endings.
Yeah, in a row.
Or you can have it do a randomized for you. And so I kind of like doing that too.
Funny,
yeah.
And then the last one was the madcap ending, or everything's just kind of crazy. And for that, I picked Blues Brothers. Which just
good point. Yeah. The whole movie's that way.
The whole movie's pretty much madcap, but especially the ending where they're in the giant car chase.
Yes.
And they end up in the city hall. And
there's literally probably 500 guys with guns.
Yeah.
In one office.
The army, the police, the Nazis.
Yeah, everything's after them. Of course, then they are the band in the jail.
Right.
So, yeah.
So it was, there you go.
They basically start a riot. It looked like in the jail. As they
end
fade out.
Yeah.
Those are all great.
Yeah,
good job. Right. I think I will. Maybe I won't steal it, but
feel free to adopt it and steal whatever. That's all right.
You definitely came prepared, and I appreciate that. So thank you, Brian.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right, we're back with Enrica.
Hello.
So for this week, in the past we have talked about movies where we didn't like the endings, but this week we're going to get positive. And we're going to talk the endings that we absolutely love and your favorite endings to a movie.
Totally. Well, I think one of my favorite movies ever is Ladri di Biciclette, which is an Italian movie, Bicycle Thieves.
Okay.
I think it is.
The Bicycle Thief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a famous movie. It's
a beautiful Italian movie. I don't remember the director. He's a famous Italian director.
Yes.
But kind of the height of Italian cinema.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just kind of one of the greatest stories that plays out on screen. It's like an action crime drama. Like somebody steals his bicycle and that plummets him into this need to find work because he loses his transportation. And he's going to lose his job, and then the end, after all of this drama of hunting this bicycle and trying to problem solve his way out of it, he has to steal somebody else's bicycle and order to, make his life work. And it's just this like beautiful circle and kind of this Italian poet effect where you just feel like, oh, of course,
So it came out in 1948.
48,
and it was Victor De Sica? Is that how you say it?
Let me read it. Vittorio De Sica.
There you go.
Yeah, so, he was a big one. But I love that movie, and I love the end because it's not like this big crazy twist, but it's like that, haha. Gotcha ends, and it makes you think about like when you're in a dark place, don't do anything that you wouldn't have done when you weren't in a dark place.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's very Italian morals. Which is interesting.
Yeah. So that's a good pick. I'm glad you picked that because I don't think most people are going to pick this.
Yeah, because it's one of the OGs, like one of the original. Like I saw it for the first time as a kid because we watched a lot of those like old Italian movies, and I didn't remember it. And then I took an Italian cinema class in college, and the whole class was in Italian. So like my memory of it is kind of muddled because it's in my second language.
Okay. So when did you learn Italian pretty much as a kid, or was it?
Yeah, I was exposed to it pretty much from as far back as I can remember.
Okay.
But I didn't read or write it. It was just kind of like orally.
Yeah.
So if you said an Italian word to me, I wouldn't know how to spell it. Like, I would know what it meant, but I wouldn't,
But you couldn't write it out, yeah.
Yeah, or read. So it's weird being illiterate in a language,
Yeah.
And then in college, I was like, okay.
But it's useful because when you're walking around and people think they're saying something, you're like, yeah.
I've been able to understand it for as long as I can remember.
Okay.
But I didn't start studying it seriously until college.
Got it.
My parents have a house there, so I've been back and forth, like growing up, and then later. They started spending more and more time there.
So do your parents speak Italian to each other?
Yeah, I mean, my father is not as good.
Okay.
Because he grew up where his parents spoke in Italian to one another. His mother was Sicilian.
Okay.
His father was Napolitano. So they spoke in like dialect to each other, and they would make fun of each other. And he was born and raised in the U.S., so he didn't understand them, and they kept it from him, because it was their like secret language. So he knew, like he was exposed to it. He knew the language,
right?
But again, kind of like me, was illiterate, didn't really understand it to the extent until he's met my mother and they had started.
Got it. Okay.
And then like they went to Italy a lot, and they have a house there now, and now it's just part of their lives, and they speak it all the time.
Right.
My father is still. He's so funny because he has such a great memory for words. Like he remembers all of the words and can communicate basically in nouns, but like can't do grammar. Oh my goodness, his grammar is so bad. He sounds like a street kid. And my mother is so focused on like,
and she's a teacher, right?
She's a teacher. So and she's a math teacher, so the math mind is so strong. Like she's so rule based, so the grammar is really what she focuses on when she was learning it more seriously later in her life. And yeah, she's still working hard. She does her Duolingo every day. Meanwhile, she's essentially fluent. Like she lives there 4 or 5 months out of the year. She has in-depth, like interesting conversations with her friends there, her family members there. Like, but she's so a perfectionist. So, but yeah, watching Italian movies as a kid, we always watch it with the subtitles in English. But yeah.
So could you watch it without subtitles?
Oh yeah. Okay. Once I started studying it formally, I always like had a knack for languages, and I had already kind of developed my fluency in French, and I wanted to challenge myself and try and do the same thing in Italian, especially because I had previous exposure to it. Yeah. And I self-taught the first 2 years, so elementary and intermediate, in one semester, and then I just went right to advanced after that. And once you're at Carnegie Mellon, once you're in the advanced level, all the classes are just in Italian. There's no anything in English. So that film class was just in Italian. So like discussing the complexity of the film in Italian was not something I was ready for.
Right. But no, you definitely trial by fire.
Yeah, so I don't remember like the interpretation of the movie a lot, but I remember the movie very clearly, and I remember loving the ending, and I remember discussing the ending in detail in Italian, so I don't really...
So you're probably watching it more intensely than you normally would for a normal movie, yeah.
And my Italian professor, she was crazy. The professoressa would stop at every 10 minutes and be like, bravo! And she would start blah, 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 going off about why it's so amazing. And then we'd start again. So I was able to ingest it slowly. Right. Unlike, a lot of other foreign films where I have to a lot of it goes over in my head. Even reading the subtitles, it goes over my head.
Yeah, because you're missing a lot of stuff.
You're missing a lot of the artistic parts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Ladri di Biciclette. It's one of my favorites. I love it. It's so good.
So check that one out.
Okay. And it's famous enough that it's in English and it's everywhere.
I've heard of the English title, so that's...
The Bicycle Thief.
The Bicycle... Or Thieves, I guess, yeah.
Because in Italian it's plural, so it would be Bicycle Thieves. And that would be almost a little more poetic because there's actually multiple thieves.
There you go.
He becomes one. So it's kind of that. You become what was your doom if you follow that path. And that kind of desperation too far. It can lead you to a place where you were trying to get out of or avoid in the first place. Right. So, yeah. Interesting. I love it so much.
Good pick. Okay, so what are your others?
A lot of the others are more predictable.
Okay. That's okay. Let's get the juicy one. The left field one out of the way first. Yeah.
So I also wrote Pride and Prejudice, but it's a book first, so it doesn't really...
So which movie?
The Keira Knightley version.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the end of that. I think it's so poetic. They're in the field. It's really beautiful. Obviously, I know how it ends because of the book. Yeah. So it wasn't that remarkable. I just like the visual.
And they held true to the book?
They followed the book pretty well.
Okay.
There was a few longer dance scenes cut out. Yeah. But for the most part, thematically it was the same, and that final scene was similar. So
okay.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah. I love that movie. And then a couple twists that because there's heartfelt and moving endings, and then there's endings. And Memento was one that I actually saw on VHS in my college room, not dorm room, the common room.
Oh, okay.
That was the only place in the building that had a VHS player. And we bought my fiance and I bought the VHS at Goodwill.
Oh yeah, they have all sorts of
movies.
He's
like, this is one of my favorite movies. And I was like, we don't have a VCR. Yeah. He was like, we'll find one.
Somewhere.
So we got back to my dorm and we went on all of the floors looking to see if anybody had a VHS player, a VCR in their common space.
So what year is this?
This was 2009.
Yeah, that's getting rare and rarer at that point, yeah.
It was my freshman year of college, our freshman year of college. And we found one in the common area of my building, Stever, the first floor common area. So the big common area where everybody's just kind of walking by. We were like, yeah, we'll watch it here.
Was everyone how are you watching this?
What are you doing? So we popped it in the VCR. And a whole bunch of people wound up joining in.
So there you go.
People were passing by. I'm like, what is this? Yeah. Because at this point, it's a little dated, right? And my fiance liked all those kind of dated movies. Yeah. And we would watch them in the common area, and it became a thing.
That's great.
So Memento was the first one.
Okay.
And the ending was amazing. The whole movie was amazing. Yeah. It was in reverse. It blew my mind. And that the tattoos were each memento.
Right. Yes.
So that he would remember. It was really, really cool. Yeah. I like that ending.
That's a great pick.
That was a Nolan film, wasn't
it? Yes.
One of his first big ones.
Yeah.
I love it. I didn't even know who the director was, and then after I remember my fiance being like, "Oh my gosh, that was directed by someone we know," because The Dark Knight had just come out, and it was a big deal. Or maybe it was
2000. So Dark Knight came out a couple years later, but Guy Pearce is great. I love him.
I love him. Yeah, it was so good. So Memento and
Carrie-Anne Moss. Yeah. No, Joey Pants. There we go.
Who's that?
Joey Pantoliano.
Oh, I love him. Yes. Pantoliano. Yes. American character actor.
And he was also he's in a lot of things. He was in The Sopranos. He was in The Goonies.
I watched the pilot of The Sopranos, by the way.
Oh, yeah?
It was so real. I can understand why Italians have trouble watching it. I get that we want to explore this guy's, deep psyche and the issue and the idea of the anti-hero, but, so many families I know have been so effed up by the mafia that, I don't care. I have no empathy for him. Like, you fucked up so many people's lives that, like, I don't care if you're sad. You know what I mean? It's like, why would, like, I feel like Jewish people would not want to watch, like, Holocaust movies about, like, Hitler being stressed.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if it's a real thing that's had a really negative effect, it's hard to see.
Mm-hmm.
I can see why my family didn't want to watch it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean,
it doesn't discredit it as art at all. It's amazing. It was so cool to
I would say a lot of the mafia movies do the same. I mean,
totally.
That's,
And what's fascinating is they're produced and created by Italians.
Yeah, like Scorsese.
All of the people on the Sopranos team are Italians. Were probably deeply affected by it, if not involved themselves.
Yeah.
So the idea of the Italian romancing the Italian things that are bad it's just all very Italian.
Right.
They just love drama. They love it. They like live on it. And so
Mario Puzo wrote obviously The Godfather, the book, and then Coppola directed it. So it all stays in the family.
Yeah, and the Italians are very artistic, and they like to approach these very serious issues in their art.
Yeah.
And I think it's different. Americans don't do that so much. It's kind of more of an escapism.
Right.
They don't want to confront those really intense issues in the form of art. So, yeah, I always go back to that. Like, whenever I think about, I can't watch this, it's too real. I'm like, but the Italians love it. They love to challenge themselves that way.
They do.
So,
all right.
Anyway. We're running out of time.
Yeah. So what's
Sorry.
So what's your other?
Shutter Island.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Everybody hates that movie, but I love it.
I don't hate it. I think it was a good movie.
Kira doesn't like it. He thought it was bad.
Oh.
I love it. I love DiCaprio.
Yeah.
And I love like psychological thrillers.
And definitely it's kind of it's a crazy movie.
So
yeah.
That was it. Oh, Pride and Prejudice, Memento, Shutter Island, The Village was another one.
There's your gotcha, M. Night Shyamalan.
I didn't see it coming. Everybody thinks I'm dumb for not seeing it coming.
Did you see? So you've seen The Sixth Sense?
Yeah, I like.
Did you see that coming?
No, that I didn't see. Well, I think it had been spoiled for me actually.
Oh, okay.
Because I see dead people.
Yeah.
Like had been going around. Like the whole joke about The Sixth Sense had been going around before I actually sat down to watch it. So I like knew what was going to happen, but. It was so good, like surprising.
Oh, yeah.
I still really liked it. The Village, I didn't see it coming at all.
Okay.
Which is stupid because it's so clearly like in real time.
How about Unbreakable? Did you see Unbreakable?
What is it
That's
about?
the one with Bruce Willis where he's basically like a superhero. He can't be hurt.
Oh, no.
And then Samuel L. Jackson's the guy who's actually causing all the...
Oh, no, I haven't seen that.
Okay,
but those are
I just gave it away for you.
Love, so.
You should see it.
I'm not really affected by spoilers so much. Like, I don't get... It doesn't ruin the experience for me, you know?
That's good, then. Yeah.
I actually, like, read the end of books.
Well, that's the thing.
Like, I start them.
Like, I don't think Psycho had the same effect on me.
Psycho?
No, the original Psycho from Hitchcock, because I actually didn't know the ending. My dad didn't tell me the ending, but he just told me some of the scary stuff to watch out. But I'm sure that was a kind of a gotcha ending for everyone.
Yeah.
When you actually figure out what Norman Bates is doing and what's going on. So, yeah. But all sorts of good stuff. So all right, thank you, Enrica.
Sorry to always go off on tangents.
No, this is good. I like when we go off on tangents because it's never the same. It's never predictable. It's perfect.
True.
So
That's
thank
true.
you.
You're welcome.
All right, we're back with Sarah.
Here we are.
And we're gonna talk about our favorite movie endings.
Okay, so these might be a bit like now people might be all, oh yeah, whatever. But at the time, I was like blown away. And it was a big friggin' deal to me. Because there was nothing like... Okay, first off, The Sixth Sense was like... That was the first in its like... Where you're like, what? Now they've done a bunch where they've like totally jumped on that bandwagon.
I saw it coming, so I was like...
Go fuck yourself. You did not see it coming.
I totally did.
No!
And not only that, but it was like... Really,
see, this is why we gotta allow smartasses into the club. You did not see it coming. Nobody saw it coming. He didn't even see it coming, and he was dead. It was him. He didn't even know.
I just saw another movie with just like that, and I saw it coming too. Passengers with Sandra Bullock. And it's the same thing. It turns out she thinks she's helping the people that survived this plane crash. It turns out no, she was one of the people that died.
I don't watch Sandra Bullock. movies because generally that they're in the same category as like
actually kind of look like
it's like Heigl and freaking Jennifer Aniston.
Heigl
and Celine Dion.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. They all need to get on a bus that goes down.
Yeah. Right on the Titanic.
Nobody knew that was coming. M. Night Shyamalan didn't even know, and it was his movie.
How did he not know he was filming it?
I'm being sarcastic.
Thank you.
Anyway, I just thought that was pretty badass. And then when you watch it afterwards, you're like, then you pay. It's kind of like Fight Club. How about Fight Club? Did you see that one coming?
I only got to the part where the acid is poured in the kitchen, and I stopped it at that point. I was done.
See, this is why we can't allow these other people into the group.
I'm sorry.
I couldn't. That's as far as I could get. What? That was the part where I couldn't get.
So you don't know the whole. You don't know. This is add that to the list of movies that we have to
It's all in his head, also, right?
You have to watch Showgirls, and she has to finish watching.
The end of Showgirls.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so anyway,
it just got to the point that it was beyond perverted at that point when he was pouring acid
on himself.
Not perverted. Not perverted.
Let's not talk about your personal life or the movies you've seen.
Not Showgirls perverted, but I mean just perverted in the sense that it was sick and twisted, and it was just like I can understand why guys like this. This is not my cup of tea.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's the host is going to put us back on track. What were we going to say?
I was going to say we just got to talk about Disney. That's maybe why you're a little
I need someone to do this.
I know, right? No, I just was like, it was one of those where it was. I was kind of, at the end you're all, what the? You've seen it, right?
Yeah, of course.
So that one was one of like, and then of course I've done a bunch like it, whatever. But the other one of my all-time favorite movies is The Usual Suspects.
Yeah. It's a perfect ending.
The end of that one kicks ass.
Yes.
And plus I just love like, Chaz Palminteri, and I don't think I'd seen Kevin Spacey in anything yet at that point. I know he did like American Beauty and stuff, but I might not have seen it.
Before or after 7?
That was before.
That's before.
That was well before.
Okay. Before.
And
look how Benicio del Toro.
I fell in love with Benicio del Toro and that. Love him.
Even Stephen Baldwin's like tall.
Right. Well, which Baldwin was that?
He's
the bloated one.
No, he's not the young one. He's the
biodome.
Oh, I still don't know which one that means. It's just they all blended.
He's the only blonde one.
And the Wilson brothers.
He's the only blonde one.
He's the crazy one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That makes. That totally
the other two are dark.
And I love the other guy, Kevin Pollak. What has he been in? He's like that guy.
He's been in a million movies.
He was in A Few Good Men. He's the other lawyer.
Was he in a TV show?
Grumpy Old Men.
Okay, he was in that. All right.
And he's also a stand-up comedian.
Oh, that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
But he's in a ton of movies.
Was the best. Like Kevin Pollak has some of the best liners. He's like, "What were you doing?" He's like, "What are you going to do if I send you to jail?" He's like, "Screw your father and then have a snack or something." No, fuck your father in the shower and then have a sandwich or something. Anyway.
So is Kobayashi in that one? The guy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
exactly.
He's a great character.
I know that guy. He was some Irish guy in the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That movie was just. I loved it. Benicio del Toro, you don't know what he's saying. He's like a total mumbler. He's like,
And, he still kind of does.
Yeah.
I know. But he was so thin and stuff there. He's cute.
He
almost doesn't even look like himself compared to now. He
right?
I mean, you have to really be looking to realize the same guy.
After that movie, Fenster was like my password for everything. It was, because it's like the best name, Fenster. It's like, it just sounds like shady. You're like, yeah, that's whatever.
Okay.
You know what? I'm just saying. It was, so that one was, and just the end, how it all falls together, and you're like, oh shit. And the way he's walking, and then his foot goes straight, and then he's like...
Yeah. My favorite part is just like how the guy, who was it? Chaz Palminteri, he's like looking around his office and realizing all the things he picked out of his office to come up with the clues. Yeah. And I'm just like, fuck, I mean, that truly is a genius.
Right. That actually, he was practicing one of my hobbies, which is lying on the fly. That's like, that is what I do. People are like, oh, so what do you like to do in your spare time? I'm like, well, I like to try to hurry up and get elevator doors to close before anybody gets in it. And lying on the fly. Not really an impressive skill when you have a boyfriend. They're not really impressed with that. But, it works well like when you go to Vegas.
It does.
And I have to like, but normally my friends are really bad. They're like, someone's like, hey, what do you do? My girlfriend looks, what do I do? I'm all, mortgage broker. And she's like, the mortgage broker. Oh, what's your name? What's my name? Michelle. Michelle! I'm like, Jesus, can you at least get some basics down, people? I got to freaking get everybody's story going at one time. Whatever. So, yeah, that's
Kaiser Sose.
Yep, that's good.
So you have no other ones?
You know what? No, I love the ones that are at the end where, again, like, you're totally caught off guard and you're like, I didn't like that, there was a movie, I think it was Shutter Island, which was another one like that
with
really
Leonardo,
didn't get a lot of people didn't pay attention because it came out like around the same time Inception came out.
Okay.
Which it's like, okay,
but
great.
It was also really long.
Yeah.
No, Inception was really long, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shutter Island.
Most Leonardo DiCaprio movies are really long.
Yes.
Think about it. They're all...
Yes, that would be mine. The two of them.
Yeah.
No, but still, think about it. Catch Me While You Can. That's another 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
That's because Tom Hanks did it. I think,
Titanic, 2.5 hours. I mean,
3.
seriously,
that was one of the other episodes we did. Was like
movie that isn't 2.5 hours long. Find me a Leo movie that isn't.
Well, What's Eating Gilbert Grape? I just found it.
Wolf of Wall Street's about 3 hours long too.
Wolf of Wall Street is done, and it's like how many times?
Was it The Revenant? The Covenant?
Yeah, The Revenant.
Another one that's 2.5, 3 hours long. So I mean,
and is it really necessary?
It's on my queue, and I'm just like, I'm waiting for the day that I actually feel like watching him be in a forest all by himself.
There's only a few movies that don't feel long, that are 3 hours. Casino I can watch. Mm-hmm. It's 3 hours long, but it doesn't bore me.
I don't know that. See, and that's a true story, though. You ever notice true stories are always long? They can't fit it all in.
No.
Yeah.
And Godfather I could always watch, even though it's
Although
like
I have to say,
hours.
it always bugs me when you see a real life movie and they've changed something when it's like the original story didn't need to be changed. It's like, what on earth was the logic behind changing something that was amazing in and of itself?
For it to make the ending better, and that's what our topic is.
But there was no need for Wolf of Wall Street to be 3 hours, because, I mean, it's just like, cut out,
dumb.
like, the 42 Coke
You know,
scenes.
Jonah Hill got a pneumonia or lung infection from snorting so much vitamin B.
I believe that.
Because that's what it was, snorting.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, that's hysterical.
Yeah, no, that was...
They should have done a little method acting. Come on.
Right, that's what you know they did.
Yeah.
You know they have.
They did.
Especially when they're like smoking pot, like, you know, James Franco and all that.
James Franco.
Please.
Yeah,
that's like, whatever.
Okay, so back to the best endings.
Okay, so it was Shutter Island.
Yep.
With another one of my favorite boyfriends, Mark Ruffalo. I don't know why I like him so much. He's just kind of a nub. He's like, because he looks like just that guy you in your cubicle and you're like, whatever, nothing good about him. But I still do him at the office Christmas party.
So you don't like romantic comedies, but he did.
Nope. He did one with Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, yes.
13 going on 30.
Yeah.
Oh, I did see that a little bit.
Maddie.
No, that's not the one I'm thinking of.
Okay.
I'm thinking of the one with Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah, where she dies. And
it's
she's
set in San Francisco,
she's haunting her apartment.
But I'll do anything if it's in San Francisco. I watch all those.
There's one with Jennifer Garner where she goes back.
13 going on 30, Mm-hmm. I have
She kind of annoys me, though.
Jennifer Garner?
A little bit. Yeah. I get you right there. Like, she's that girl that won't stop talking.
She's a little too goody-goody.
Yeah, you're right. She's that girl that, like, encourages you to do bad things and then judges you later.
Well, it's like even the Capital One commercials. There's just something goody-goody-ish about her in those commercials.
It's like, listen, like, you need to use credit, bitch. We know you have enough money.
Well, you know Alec Baldwin's a fuck-up when he's asking for... Like, he's already maxed out his credit card.
Oh, yeah. He's a big freaking loser. He's like... he's got, like, the 25% interest charge because he's got so many late penalties. I'm just saying. But Shutter Island, at the end of it... Can I get back to their... We are doing a podcast show, I think, right? But, and Ben Key... Whatever it is. I'm like,
I just thought of a great ending movie.
Okay, well...
good. Chime in, please. Yeah. I'm glad to
Real Genius.
Okay. Real Genius, yeah.
That's it.
I love the popcorn scene with the house exploding at the end.
With what song playing at the end?
Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
That's right, Tears for Fears.
Because it's one of my top 5 all-time favorite songs.
They're coming to San
I did not.
When?
Soon, I think.
Oh my god, I've always wanted to see Tears for Fears in concert.
Oh my god, it's like a New Kids reunion.
I know.
I can't remember Real Genius.
That is a
I know I'm
great
going to get decked right now, but I can't remember that movie. I remember Zapped.
Zapped with Scott Baio.
Can we add this to the list of movies that we have to watch?
Zapped. Real Genius.
Real Genius. Both.
Oh, yeah.
Put both of them on
You know
there.
what I actually was shocked by is that I thought that would have been the kind of movie that would have been completely canned with Roger Ebert.
Yeah.
They gave it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah.
They thought, I'm
Jesus.
just shocked. I was just shocked because it's such a campy, kind of cheesy movie in the 80s. I thought they would have totally trashed
and
it.
who would have thought that was the best Val Kilmer was ever going to look?
But it's also a precursor to Big Bang Theory because they went to Caltech.
Yeah.
They're super nerdy, but it's a great movie.
What's the premise?
They're all scientists. Like they're going to become scientists, and they need to create a bomb.
The professor has tasked him on a project to build a laser, but they don't realize that it's actually a bomb for the CIA.
Right. And the professor is the same guy in Ghostbusters that plus Bill Murray.
The redheaded guy.
Yeah.
God, he always plays a mean guy.
He always plays
a mean guy. Yeah,
he's always a jackass.
He's always a jackass.
Oh, well, I guess I'll have to see that.
You gotta see Real Genius.
I missed that.
You have to see Real Genius.
I was watching Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and you guys were watching that apparently.
One of the girls in it, the girl that dates the kind of the geeky kid, is in Valley Girl. Like Mayim Ball. I don't know what her name is.
Oh, you mean the main girl?
No, that's from Big. She's from Big Bang Theory.
That's Blossom.
Okay, it's not Blossom. It's someone else.
I had a class with her. I forgot all about
Let's go back to celebs.
Wait, bro. That's a whole different story.
She is a total weirdo. Let me tell you, she's as weird as
Blossom.
Yeah. No. She's weird, like more like Amy.
Okay.
Fowler, whatever her name is.
Who?
She's weird. She's hipster, no makeup, all woman power, women.
It's called granola hippie stick. Is what it is.
Whatever you want to call it, that's her. I mean, I don't remember. I think it was actually a women's lib class or African American studies, something like that.
Yeah, because she's clearly got some African American soul going on.
It was like, and I got in a group.
Her name is pretty. Sounds like a sister name, Maria Valak or whatever. Thank you. Didn't Mekhi Phifer have that name in like Dangerous Minds or what was that movie? Fucking Higher Learning. Just saying.
Or yeah, she is.
Okay, this goes down as the most random episode we've done.
I know. Does anybody? Would the audience like to know what the topic was? Yes, it was endings.
Best endings.
Yes, best ending. Like us. Like we're
one that never ends.
We're done for.
Put
a cork in us.
No, but Real Genius was actually a great one.
Add it to the list. I liked Shutter Island, but nobody gave it any freaking hype because everybody was busy watching Inception and drinking the Kool-Aid about a dream within a dream within a dream. It's like, I'm bored. I don't care. But
I honestly vaguely remember it, but I don't.
I don't even know how Inception ended because I didn't even watch it. I was boycotting.
It turns out the mother and the kids were dead all along. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that part.
Yeah.
Well, I remember that. Then I guess I did see the ending. No, I like the ones where you're not quite... Somebody said to me that I didn't like Shutter Island because like almost all the way through the movie, I didn't quite know what was going on. Yeah, that's the point, stupid. You're not supposed to know.
Did you like any other M. Night Shyamalan movies besides 6?
I saw Signs. That was okay. The Happening got a little stupid for me.
Did you like Unbreakable?
I did, but I like Samuel L. Jackson, and I'll watch anything with Bruce Willis. I don't know what it is. Ending. Yeah, it was. You're right. Yeah, that one. I remember. The trailers for those movies were always really like intense, really good. But whatever happened to him? He had some good ones. I thought
he kind of after what was the Girl in the Water or one of the water.
Oh, then there was The Village.
Yeah,
that was weird at the end. That was an ending. Yeah, he does a lot of endings that are like where he tries to. Yeah, did you see The Village?
I'm not really a fan of his movies, so
you know what? Don't be a hater and discriminate. It's good.
Miss, I hate Disney movies and rom-coms. Don't go there.
I can't help it. They're unrealistic.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop before they throw down.
Night Shyamalan is.
Yeah, maybe dead people. All right, we're done.
Thank you, guys. Will she laugh or won't she laugh? That is the question, and that was an easy one.
There you go.
All right. You never know what I'm gonna say, but the outcome's always the same. Okay, Danielle's back. Welcome back.
Yay. Yay.
What is yay? Was that something you would say in Portuguese?
I was supposed to say hey and yay. So
hey and yay is I. We should have subtitles for you.
I cannot.
Yes.
Speak. Talk.
Speak it.
How do you say?
I don't know, actually. Okay, for this week's episode, we're going to talk about your favorite movie endings. I don't think... Well, it's going to be interesting how this interview is going to end because it's off to an incredible start. So... let's just go through the list. You said you had 5 picks.
Yes, I do. So we're going to start like from 5 to 1.
Okay.
Right? From my least to most.
Okay. Fair enough. You got your drum roll. Go ahead.
I do have.
Number 5.
Number 5 is The Village.
Somebody actually already picked. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Enrique, the M. Night Shyamalan.
Yes. It was like, I didn't expect that to happen.
And...
At the end, my eyes almost fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it surprised me. Like the, what's the name? Those that we don't speak of. Something like that.
Yeah.
Was a person.
Right.
I didn't see that one coming.
No, you thought they were spirits or something like that. Or...
And it was amazing. Yeah, I thought it was a horror movie.
Sure.
And, oh my God.
Yeah, and that's how they kind of tease the movie. That you think it's like a horror. Yeah.
And it's amazing, like the wall and, when they climb. And I was like, what? I didn't realize, it's in modern days. Super cool. Super cool. I didn't expect that one at all.
That's a good pick.
Yes.
All right, number 4.
Number 4 is, that's going to be interesting because I don't know how to say it.
Okay.
But Shutter Island?
Shutter Island, yeah.
Yeah? So it's actually like one of the few movies that I like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan of him.
I think Scorsese directed that, didn't he?
What?
Did Martin Scorsese direct that movie?
I have no idea.
Shutter Island. I think
okay. So it's like a film of Zombie. He was really good. He played the.
So why don't you like Leonardo DiCaprio?
I think it's like the Titanic curse. I didn't like the movie. I don't like anyone that was in that movie, but I like him on Catch Me If You Can. He was really good on this one. Of course. Yeah. And no, but he was good. And Shutter Island was the same. He was really good. And
Mark Ruffalo's in it.
You know the movie. Did you watch the movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I didn't say that one coming, and it was really amazing. But it was like the end. It wraps up really good. There's like it explains. It's not open like they missed something. Like it's not my list, but The Sixth Sense. I saw that coming.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I saw it like in the minute. I don't know how he's that.
So you saw it coming even before you heard about it? Because a lot of people knew what was going to happen.
No, I saw it coming. Like the wife never spoke for him. He couldn't do certain things.
Right.
When he goes to therapy with the little boy, the mother don't talk. I saw that.
Okay, fair enough.
But anyway, back to my Shutter Island. Well, when they explain to him, right, he's like trauma. Is a trauma that he has, manic depressive, something like that, because he killed the wife that killed the 2 kids. He was really good on that one. Yeah. So
do you like movies that are wrapped up, or you do not like open endings? So where you're not sure what happens?
No, I like to understand.
You want to? Okay.
So when I don't understand, which is very often,
so it doesn't.
I go on Wikipedia. So that what means.
So it doesn't even have to mean that you don't understand. They just leave it open ended, so you can
have an interpretation.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Yes. Yeah. No, I don't like it. I like when it's like it closes. Has a closure. I prefer that.
You prefer that? Okay. Yes. That's fair.
Yes. So that's my 4th. Really good.
Very good. Number 3.
Number 3 is, I'm sure people picked that one already. It's 7.
No, nobody picked that.
Are you kidding me?
Well, not a lot of people like that ending.
Why?
Well, you obviously don't like Gwyneth Paltrow.
It makes sense. Like he ends, he's the envy, because it misses 5. You know the movie is ending, and where's it's not 7, it's 5.
Okay. Do you like... Okay, what part of the ending do you like? Do you like that he killed her, or that Brad Pitt actually kills him?
None. What I like is the dialogue that he explains. Like, I went to the house, and this, and he says, I am the envy, and you... That, for me, I will never forget that part.
Do you care about the head in the box?
No, who cares?
Well, that's a key plot point. That's a key plot point, because if he doesn't chop off her head and kill her...
Yeah, but
then Brad Pitt doesn't shoot him. And do you wish Brad Pitt had just let him go to jail instead of killing him right there?
Oh, the death penalty.
Well, no, it has nothing to do with that. Like Morgan Freeman's trying to prevent him from doing it.
You know what? I think if he went to jail, it'd be very similar to Hannibal.
Right.
It would have a link somehow. I don't know.
You could have a sequel.
Exactly. Yeah. So, no. I think it was like the right ending. The right one.
But then Brad Pitt goes to prison for killing.
He'll get out. He's a cop. Of course they would do something.
Wow, someone's biased.
No, but come on.
Yeah.
It was like he made justice with
Well, there's your ambiguous ending, so he might have got off.
You
don't know. Okay, number 2.
Is already number 2?
We're already number 2.
Wow, that's too fast for me.
Okay, slow it down there.
Actually, is the Silence of the Lambs. I love the ending, and
well, they definitely it had an open ending so they could do sequels.
Yes,
yeah.
But it was the first movie.
It was.
So I didn't know about the sequel. It was like
well, nobody did. They didn't know if it wasn't successful, they wouldn't have had sequels.
So I love the end when he says he's having an old friend for dinner.
Okay. And
that is the best. So yeah, I like that ending. I didn't see. I thought he would be in jail, actually, but he was very articulated.
He was, wasn't he? He was getting off a bus or something like that. Was that the one?
I don't remember.
I seem to recall him calling her, right?
Oh yeah, he's in a busy street.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't know where. It's not in US. I think he's
in a different country.
I think he's in Europe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but I mean that ending when she kills Buffalo Bill. I didn't like that part. I don't know.
He
was
had
so
to die,
expected. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was so much. The scene was so long.
It was very suspenseful because he's wearing that night mask.
Yes, it's really suspenseful.
Yes.
How to say?
No, that's how you say it.
But it took too long. It was like tiring.
They
Just kill the guy and that's it.
Well,
we knew that would happen, of course.
Yeah.
But what I didn't know was like Hannibal calling her and the guy, the director, right, from the sanatorium that arrives in the city, that he sees, that I didn't see it coming. So it was really good.
That's a good one.
Yay.
All right, number one. I'm dying to see what you're going to...
Yeah, and I don't know how to say the title, so you're going to have to help me.
Okay.
So it's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
You said it perfectly.
That is my favorite ending.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So refresh my memory. How does it end? I'm trying to remember.
So Jack Nicholson was like the smarty from the sanatorium. Yes. So it ends because he behaved so badly.
Right.
And he was like the free spirit from the place, right? He was like, all the patients love him. But he has a lobotomy.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, and the chief.
Yeah. We got to pick up.
Finally get the courage to leave.
Yeah.
So, come on, that is amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. I didn't like that he got the lobotomy, but it
that
was
had
surprising.
Too. Yeah.
Exactly. But it was like giving the chills when the chief, gets and leaves. That was my favorite.
That's a good one. Nobody picked that. That's a really good one. I'm saying you could also pick The Shining too, with Jackson.
The Shining, that, and I didn't understand. Was he there?
Well, they did that on purpose.
It was very Stephen King.
Yeah,
he does that.
Yeah.
He's good at that.
Mm-hmm. All right, those are all good. So you had no honorable mention ones?
No.
No.
This is my number one. The number one is like the
number one's
best
the best
one.
So when you thought that was the first one you thought of?
Yes, that's so funny, right?
Yeah.
I saw that movie like I don't know, 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I still haven't the end.
Have you read the book yet?
No.
You should read the book. It's Ken Kesey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So I understood, like you say, like the Da Vinci Code. I would never get how he got it, the body, but this 5, it's perfect.
You were good.
Yes.
All right, as always, thank you so much. Great job, Danielle.
Thank you very much.
And you can. There's the laugh. All right, we're back with Josephine. Welcome back.
Hello.
We are going to do this week your favorite endings to movies. So in the past, we've done movies where you didn't like the ending, you want the ending changed. But in this case, this is where the movie studio or the producer or the director nailed it. Okay, so what is your list?
Okay, so number one, it's my favorite movie. It's The Apartment. I love the ending to that.
Yes.
Because it's super romantic. Yeah. There's one person running toward the other person, which you have to have, right? And it takes place on New Year's Eve. Yeah. And it's just, to me, it's about respecting yourself.
Sure.
And I think when Shirley MacLaine realizes that she should be with Jack Lemmon, I mean, come on.
Yes. And you keep going through the whole movie thinking, like, they're not going to end up together. It's just like it's obvious that
she's
not
way
going that
too
way.
into Fred McMurray. Yeah. She can't get him out of her head. Yeah. And then I think she just realizes, I mean, for me as a woman, I totally get Miss Huberleg. I totally get where she's coming from. And in the end, she just realizes, wait a minute, this other guy's treating me way better than this other guy. So, yeah.
But yeah, she almost took him for granted, That's
But Jack Lemmon, he became what do they call it? A mensch.
He became
a mensch. Yeah.
But all he had to go through with his landlord and then the doctor and everything.
I love Dr. Dreyfuss.
I know.
He's the best.
Yes, it's a great movie.
Yeah. So the other one, come on, Defending Your Life. That test at the end was just perfect.
Yes.
I think I'm just kind of like, well, wait a minute. That one thing could negate all the other dumb shit he did in his life.
Right.
But but I think it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Like knowing how fearful he is to do that one thing at the end.
It's a huge step.
It's a huge step.
Yeah.
And especially at that juncture when you think, okay, I'm done. Like nothing I can do now. I remember reading an interview with Albert Brooks where he talked about like if you could distill the essence of what that movie's about, it's really about like it's never too late. Even it might not work out if you try again, but just try again because it might work out.
Yeah.
And I really kind of love that message, that notion. Short Term 12.
I've never seen that.
Love it. It's Brie Larson.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people who are in it are now kind of like pretty big. Ron.
Oh yeah, he's in Mr. Robot. Yeah, he's great.
In it. This woman who's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yes.
Yeah, she's in it as well. And this other guy that was in Get Out, he's in it. So fantastic ending. Everything works out in the end. It's not like it's like wiping away all of like the tragedy and shit, but it's just it worked out as well as it could have.
Sure.
Yeah. So love that.
Okay. I love that you also bring up movies that probably are not as well known as The Apartment or something like that too. It's always a good mixture. So this is good.
Yeah.
You and Samantha.
Okay. Random Harvest.
Oh yeah, with Greer Garson.
Yes. And Roger Coleman, is that him?
Ronald Coleman.
Yes. I love that ending. It's I think of that movie as just pure romance.
Yeah.
It's just these two people who form this deep connection and they're trying to make their way back to each other. And I love that it's over 18 years.
Yeah.
And it's highly romantic at the end. You're just like, So 18 years, and then Letter to Three Wives. Also, have you seen it?
A long time ago. Wait, Kirk Douglas?
Kirk Douglas is in it, and a bunch of other people.
Yeah. Is Jean Crane?
Yeah, she's also in it. Yeah. And it's just, the ending is so kind of unexpected. I mean, basically, there's three women, they're great friends, and they find out that a fourth friend of theirs, who they've always been kind of insecure and jealous about, has run off with one of their husbands. And so they spend the whole day thinking, oh fuck, is it my husband that ran off? And when I read that, I thought, I bet it was just some trick or, it was just some misunderstanding. But no, she did fucking run off with someone's husband.
Yeah.
And it's just, the ending is just so great. It wraps everything up so well. It's really great.
Yeah.
So, other one is Get Out.
Which just came out, yes.
Yeah, which just came out. Loved it. Ending was good.
Don't give away the ending because people might not have seen it yet. But that's one where if you're going to see it, Josephine says the ending's perfect.
Yes, stay for the end.
Okay.
Arrival, it was like lots of, can I say that it was what you think are flashbacks are actually like, people watch Arrival, okay? I thought the ending was really great and just perfect and makes you want to watch the whole movie over again and see those little things that Amy Adams does. Lolo, have you seen that? That's the movie. It's directed by Julie Delpy.
Okay. Who's in the Before movies? Yep.
And this whole movie, her 20-year-old son, who has this total Oedipal complex, is sabotaging her relationship with this guy. In the end, is just really hilarious. Everyone watch it. It's on Netflix. Okay. Brooklyn. Did you see Brooklyn with Saoirse Ronan?
No.
Where she's in Ireland and she ends up moving to Brooklyn and just adjusting to. I loved it, and my boyfriend at the time, who I saw it with, he thought she made the wrong choice. I was like, no, I thought she made the right choice. She followed her heart.
Sure.
So I love that. And then Calvary, which is not a happy ending movie, but I thought it was beautiful. Right. Yeah, very human.
As usual, great list. Go out and see all of these movies. Josephine is definitely a movie aficionado, and she sees tons of different movies.
My love of movies is pure. I just want to watch what I want to watch.
Exactly.
I'm very enthusiastic about it.
I'm
confident in my tastes.
And that's why you're on the show. So, thank you again, Josephine. I think I'll cut that. Welcome back, guys. David and Samantha are back together. Yay. We like this. And we're going to talk about our favorite endings to movies. And so the list, we don't know the list because we're just going to wing it, I think.
We're just winging it. Although I did, spoilers, I heard some rumors of the things that are going to be brought up by my partner over here.
Yeah.
They were, at least one of them, I was also going to mention.
Okay, so that's good. So let's start with that one. Okay. We'll just get that one out of the way.
So first, favorite ending because I'm going by things that legit surprised me.
Right.
And we're kind of like, whoa. So I thought of Prestige.
Okay.
first? Christian
I haven't
Bale.
seen it.
2006.
I have not seen it.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
but you can give it away. That's fine. This is spoiler alert.
It was the movie that Nolan did after Begins.
Okay.
So it was like, everyone was just like, oh, Christian Bale's so cool and Nolan's so cool.
Yeah.
And it was like a really awesome, twisty magician movie.
And it's a period.
Yes, okay.
So
Is
it's different.
And it's got
Is Ed Norton
Bowie in
in
it
it?
as Tesla.
Okay. Is Ed Norton in it? Or am I thinking of
No,
different
so it came out the same year as The Magician.
Oh, okay.
And so it was the year of the two movies.
Uh-huh.
And
The
I think...
The Illusionist?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm
I
thinking
remember
of.
those two movies,
Yeah,
and I was
not
like,
The Magician. The Illusionist.
yeah, I watched like every single
Oh, Hugh Jackman's in
costume
it.
drama, so I was like, two
You're
magician
in.
movies based in the 19th century.
Yeah, you're all in.
Yeah.
At the time, of course, was way more into prestige because it was like, oh yeah, fuck, it's Chris Nolan, he's so cool, he just did the coolest Batman movie. Like, oh, who cares about The Illusionist? And like finally saw Illusionist. And it was like an okay romantic like period movie, but
It wasn't.
it was not like a twisty like holy crap like yeah.
It had one of the, I think, craziest endings like
For Prestige,
I had seen in a while. And still, I was like reading the summary right now, and I forgot. Oh, I need to watch this.
Well, it's got a great cast. Just going through. So you guys
It's
mentioned
got Wolverine, it's got Batman.
Yep. David Bowie, as you said.
It's got Black Widow.
Yeah, that's true. Scarlett Johansson, and you have Alfred,
Michael
Caine.
It has Alfred, although I think Nolan puts him in everything. So
I did. Oh, there's a fun story about Dunkirk.
yeah,
Too.
he
really?
He has like a cameo or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because he's been in every movie.
I mean,
Interesting.
if I could put Michael Caine in every movie, why wouldn't you?
Of course you would.
it's
We had
delightful.
talked about that with character actors. Like people just kind of have their go-tos. You
Yeah.
know, like Tarantino always uses certain people and
Yeah.
things like that. Piper Parabo's in it too.
It's a good
Before
cast.
she made the jump to USA's whatever that show
Uh-huh.
was.
Yeah. She was also in Coyote Ugly.
Before this.
Yeah, way before this. Okay, so this is a good one. I need to see this then.
Yeah,
So-
because it just seems kind of like a. It's. I think these two magicians, are they kind of like competitors?
They
or...
start out on the same troupe.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
something happens to Black Widow.
Mm.
And oh wait, no. Was it Black?
Someone dies.
I think it was
There's
Scar.
drama with the wives, I
Mm.
think. I don't really remember the plot. I just
Okay.
remember at the end there's a big giveaway.
Mm.
It seems like a pretty normal movie,
Mhm.
and then it all kind of
Things spiral out of control.
yeah.
And then Wolverine
What were you
turns
doing?
on Batman,
Uh-huh.
and it becomes kind of like a revenge thing of
Mhm.
like you let this like
Oh,
accident happen. It was your
yeah.
fault, and he like kept it's pretty intense.
Yeah.
And
Umbrella.
the acting in it's pretty great. And then on top of that, like, because it's not really like a twisty turny kind of like plot, but
Mhm.
it's just all of a sudden the end happens and you're like, oh, that's really messed up.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
because you figure out how he's been doing his big illusion or trick.
well,
the
there's
whole
two
time.
because they both end up having like an illusion trick
Okay.
thing that remains hidden from like the reveals remained hidden from the audience the
Mhm.
whole time. And then at the very end, it's like, oh, you see how they both did it, and it was one was more messed up than the other,
Mhm.
but they're both kind of like, oh, that sucks.
So give a teaser for an upcoming episode. Would you want a sequel out of this?
I don't know.
No, I
No?
don't think you really can.
Okay, so yeah, you don't have to give away the ending,
It's
but
a-
yeah,
it's a final.
Yeah.
it's
And then also during the movie, part of like the structure of it is Alfred is narrating like the magician's sort of like not code, but like how you do a magic trick, and it's
Mm.
like
Yeah.
the introduction, the something, and
Is that where the
or, like,
title of the movie comes from?
I think the end. Yeah, it's like the like the setup, the reveal, and the prestige, or something like that.
okay.
And so it ends with like and so you're like, oh wait, were they like explaining it to me the whole time?
Here we go. It's the pledge, the turn, and the prestige.
Ah,
So
okay.
there's three.
And so yeah, it ends and you're like, wait a second, I think I just got smarted.
Mhm.
So they could have done a trilogy out of it, just on each thing.
Each turn.
Really?
I know. Okay, so that's a good pick. People need to go out and see it if you haven't already seen it. So let's start with David. What are your other favorite endings?
The other two that came to mind. Heads up, I forgot all week that this was the subject.
Yeah.
The ones that come to mind are the first two Nolan Batmans.
Okay.
Because Batman Begins, it ends so, like, uplifting. It's like, oh, never said thank you, and you'll never have to. And he flies off. It's like, holy shit, fuck yeah, Batman. And then the second one ends, like, more somber of, like, you can do all this shit to me because I'm Batman and I can take it. You're like, fuck yeah, you can, Batman. So, like, they just end, like, so triumphantly, even though, like, one's, like, a positive triumphant, the other was like, well, you can just beat me up because, like, I'm that fucking cool.
Right. So that means you hate the third.
I hate the third one. Yeah.
The third
that is a whole other episode.
Right. You actually might have mentioned that on your you liked it up.
Sequels.
Yeah, you didn't like that and change that ending. So.
But yeah, I think as far as like endings go, Nolan usually ends.
Talk about Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, he ends pretty strong because like Memento, of course, and then both of those Batman movies. Inception ends pretty cool at the top.
Yeah.
Interstellar, even though the movie itself was kind of like the ending was like okay, not bad, kind of stuck the landing. And then I haven't seen Dunkirk yet.
Okay.
So another example for me, thinking. Okay, so I was kind of trying to think of some scarier movies with like cool, fun endings, and I thought, well, there's a classic Psycho ending.
Yes.
You have the reveal there of like, oh, he's been the mom the whole time.
Yeah.
And then.
I mean, we're all too young to experience it back then. I should ask my dad, who actually saw it in the theater, if he was surprised.
I knew what it was going to be about, but it was still like very.
It's a twist ending.
First time I saw Psycho, it wasn't like how Star Wars was like, you grew up knowing like he was already the dad and whatever. But I think the first time I saw Psycho, the ending wasn't like told to me.
Oh, okay.
So but I mean at the same time I was like just a little kid, so it didn't really like blow my mind. It was like, oh, okay, he was the killer. Like but
I think at the time it was a big deal because nobody had any idea what was going on.
I feel like that movie so much was like a big deal on like killing the lead actress and stuff like that.
Well, it's such a crazy movie because really the beginning of it is totally different than what it turns into.
Yeah.
So
which is kind of the same with The Exorcist. Like it starts with the like Egyptian dig, and you're like, what the hell am I watching?
Yeah.
Like I want to see a little girl do fucked up things.
Yeah.
And then it's like not until like the second half where you're like, oh my gosh,
you
what did I get into? Yeah.
Well, that's actually The Omen too. The Omen gets in some weird. You kind of think it's going to get better, and it really never does.
I remember The Omen. I have seen it a lot less than like Exorcist and like even the shitty Exorcist sequels.
Yeah.
But The Omen, I remember paced a bit better, like it was a bit more consistent.
Yeah.
Whereas with Exorcist, it's like it starts kind of weird, and then it gets into like the like cool, scary stuff that you're like wanting to see.
Right. And they definitely interesting with they actually get him older in the next, because there's two more sequels to The Omen, and by then he becomes an adult by the third one. So they're not as good as the first.
I don't think I saw the sequels for Omen.
The first one's great because Gregory Peck's in it and everything. So.
The Exorcist sequels aren't bad, though.
Yeah.
Well, the second one was kind of, like, weird, but the third one is, like, kind of, like, cult favorite now, but I feel like this is also another episode.
It totally is. Okay, so we got Psycho, so back to David. Okay, so we'll keep with Samantha.
Oh, yeah, it's a good one.
Okay.
You should just go with that.
Okay.
So, other horror movie is The Others.
I haven't seen this.
What?
I guess. Let's
I'm just throwing all these.
I know. I like
classic.
It's 2001.
Okay.
Nicole Kidman. So we can't talk about these endings.
No, you can. I'll still see them
because the Others twist is pretty.
Is it crazy?
It's kind of like
Well, of course, it's during World War II, so you love that. So.
But yeah, it's a really good one because it's this mom who's living in this creepy old house, kind of like gothic horror style, with her kids, and weird stuff starts to happen.
A haunting occurs.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll have to check out The Others.
You figure out what's actually been happening. And
it's gonna be a Netflix weekend.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a good one.
That was a really good one. I forgot about it. I was gonna say the few M. Night Shyamalan twists.
Yeah.
That were like that worked to actually to better the movie and not just like predicated on like the happening of like, oh, it was the plants the whole time. It's like that's just sort of like stupid. But the Sixth Sense one, of course, like took everybody by surprise. Unbreakable was really cool. With he was actually like, it turns into like you were the superhero the whole time and I was the villain. Ha ha ha.
It was almost 2 twists in that.
And then Signs was a stupid one. It was like, oh, they're allergic to water.
And then with The Village.
And then The Village. The Village twist was cool. It's just, I think I've probably said this before, but it was just marketed wrong. It was marketed like a scary movie and not like a weird mystery thriller. So I feel like at the time especially, like myself included, like going into that movie expecting it to be like this, monster in the woods thing. And then it's just like, it's just this blind girl running into society. It didn't pay off as well.
I think I stopped watching his films after The Village. I just kind of...
because after that, I think after The Village was The Lady in the Water, which was like his first not twist movie. And then The Happening was just so stupid. But then, so his later films, which I feel like no one talks about because everyone kind of like fell off of the hype. The Visit has a really cool twist with the grandparents of like the kids going to visit the grandparents and they've never seen them before because of like parent drama stuff. And the end, the twist, like it actually pays off really well if you're just like, that's really messed up. And then Split, which just came out like last year. The twist completely changes the your entire perception of the movie because it was funny. The twist isn't revealed until it's like the end of the movie happens and then the title card comes up, Split. And then the title card goes away and then the little stinger is added after that. And so I was watching it with friends and the movie, cuts to the title card. My friend looks over at me, he's like, that was the stupidest fucking movie. And then the title card goes away, and then the final stinger scene happens, and he's like, shut the fuck up! And I was like, yeah, dude, surprise, it was actually this the whole time. And he was like, you knew the whole time? I was like, yeah, that's why I liked it. Because, like, without the twist, it's kind of weird. Like, the twist totally changes your perception of everything. So, without it, just watching the movie and not seeing that part, you're kind of like, okay, for like a later product of M. Night, it was a fine movie. It was, executed well. It was shot pretty cool. Dialogue, of course, is stupid and stilted, but like, it had a really cool style to it. And, for new Shyamalan, it was fine. And then the twist happens, you're like, oh,
not bad.
Then, so,
So definitely, okay. So if you're going to go later era, check out Split. Okay. Back to Samantha.
I don't think I really have any.
No more? Okay.
Well, I did have one really depressing ending that kind of stuck with me. I don't have either of you seen Atonement?
No.
Okay. But it has one of the most tragic endings of any film I've ever seen. It's based on a book, so it doesn't really count that I saw the movie before I read the book. And you think it's kind of like, it's kind of this wartime love story and everything, but it's actually really dark. One of the character's siblings kind of tears their relationship apart, and then so it's stuck in the wartime, and you hope that they're going to reunite, and it just ends really awfully. And
it's almost
kind
like
of stuck at the end.
It's on one movie. It's
crushed.
They're on a train, like they're trying to catch each other, and it's an old movie, and it just kind of just ends like that. I mean, I forgot what it was called, but and they never see each other again. Like they're trying to meet each other at a train station. Brief Encounter? Is it called Brief Encounter? I don't know. It's something like that. Are there any older movies that? Because you like a fan.
I was trying to think of older ones, but
well, you mentioned Hitchcock,
stuff and. Well, endings that stick with me are usually things that are like shocking or sad. So
there are some older Hitchcock ones,
like the end of Blair Witch. That movie wasn't actually scary, but the ending was like pretty nuts. And then just like him staring against the wall was like, okay, like that was never really done before. It's a weird, like unsettling kind of a thing, and like I feel like that was more what's like stuck with you after watching it was just how weird it all was. And, like, because, you know, found footage was still relatively, like, not abused by that point.
Right.
And
okay, so we'll try subjects. Are there any comedies where you really like the ending, or are there any ambiguous endings that you like? So two separate ones.
I liked the ambiguous Inception ending.
Yeah.
Of the top spinning, and it's like, it's wobbling.
Yeah.
No, it's not. You're an idiot.
You'll never know.
But comedy is ambiguous.
I don't watch enough comedies, to be
yeah.
honest with you.
Well, comedies kind of like romantic comedies. Forget it, because they all kind of are tied up in a bow. But
and especially because a lot of, unless it's like a dark comedy, most comedies like end also sort of formulaic and happy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of like thinking of all of like Will Ferrell and like those sorts of, even like The Cable Guy was like, even though that was like dark and weird, it still ended relatively like okay, like Matthew Broderick didn't die.
Right.
That's a shame. The ending of Cloverfield was cool. That was kind of ambiguous. Well, not really ambiguous, but I don't remember if it happened before or after, if there was like a title card thing or something, but it was like the end, and like it flickers back on, and because the whole time like you're watching, you know, like a tape that was found, whatever.
Right.
And so the tape is sort of broken, I believe was like the setup along the way. And so at the end of the movie, it like cuts again, and it like goes back to a point before the monster invasion, and it's just like, you know, the happy couple like on their like happy day at the theme park or whatever, and if you like watch really closely, you see like the thing drop in the background, like it's outside.
Brian came up with, I guess, the director Paul Verhoeven, who did Running Man. Was it
he did Running Man.
Running Man and
no, he didn't.
Total Recall.
Starsky.
Okay.
Did, or was it Hutch? Either Starsky or Hutch directed Running Man. Yeah.
So I guess he did Total Recall.
Yeah.
Which kind of has an ambiguous ending. He did Basic Instinct, which the very first one. You're not sure.
Yeah.
So he was kind of the twist at the end.
I'm not sure if he's gonna.
Well, no, if she was the killer,
right? Because
she has the ice pick
at the very end,
but
they obviously caught the psychiatrist.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's funny because who remembers the twist on that?
No, I know. Yeah. Well, and then they made the sequel, which I never bothered to see. So that was one they shouldn't have made a sequel for. And then my dad's favorite ambiguous ending is Sideways, because Paul Giamatti is knocking on the door to the woman, and it just ends. So you don't know if she answers or not.
I forgot about the ending of that.
Yeah. Some people really didn't like that because they wanted to know, but other people are like, no.
It's funny because
either way,
those are two like prime examples of movies where people don't remember the end.
Yeah,
but you remember something from it.
Totally.
Like, you remember Merlot, or you remember like
the
Sharon
naked,
Stone,
or the naked dude running after his buddy,
running out of the hotel or whatever. Yeah, because like the Judd Apatow ones either end happy or just sort of like depressing. Like This Is 40 and Funny People was just sort of like.
So Animal House had a kind of a crazy, like, madcap ending where at the parade, where basically everything, they destroy the whole town. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
And then they do the famous "Where do they end up?" type of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like one guy becomes whatever, and then
Oh, I love those like epilogue.
Yeah,
things.
Exactly. American Graffiti did it too. Yeah.
Road Trip did that too, and it was like Well,
you do Ferris Bueller. I mean, that's. He kind of gets away with it all, and then kind of the race to the finish sort of ending, where it's not typical.
And I guess Breakfast Club.
Yeah, that ends ambiguous. I mean, you don't know if they're going to hang out after.
Yeah, it just kind of ends of like they bonded, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's going to have how many more weeks of detention? Because, he keeps asking for it. So yeah. Yeah, because, I mean, 16 Candles, they tie it up in a bow. And
and then all of the Austin Powers, even though there were so many sequels, they never really were like, or I'm not remembering them ending.
Well, wasn't it
as a sequel setup?
Oh, what's her name? The one that was in the first one. She's a bot.
Yeah.
The second one.
The first one was Elizabeth
Hurley.
Yeah. And then she turns out to be a fembot.
Right.
And then it's Heather Graham
in the second one, yeah.
And then the third one's Beyonce.
Yeah. Exactly.
Her best work.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but none of them were like set up to be like, they didn't like really lead into each other.
Right.
They just kind of like picked up. And I think we did a great job.
I did. On the fly, I think we did good.
Good job, team.
Thank you, guys. If you enjoy this podcast and are an iTunes user, please do the show a favor and head on over to the official iTunes page for Damn Good Movie Memories. Be sure to leave a rating and a review. This will allow the show to appear higher in the algorithm and spread the joy of this podcast to the masses. If you are not an iTunes user, you can still listen and subscribe on Podbean at damngoodmoviememories.podbean.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook under our Damn Good Movie Memories page. You can also listen to a limited number of episodes on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and be sure to tune in next week for an all-new episode of Damn Good Movie Memories.